So Big Picture Living was born from lifestyle medicine, and they have Big Picture Learning has a partnership with the College of Lifestyle and American College of Lifestyle and Medicine, and it's an evidence-based approach to health, to reverting bad health habits into good, to sustain, there's so much, my brain's going off. I'm just gonna take a moment because it was a lot. There's everything from your day-to-day life to preventative measures to curing diseases and illnesses based on lifestyle changes. And so what Big Picture Learning did is they created a student-driven lifestyle medicine, and that's what these 6 pieces are. So these 6 pieces, if you go to bigpictureliving.com, you'll see students, they're talking all about it, and it was born so that students can start helping make healthy life choices for themselves, but it also came during the time of COVID. And so during that time, there was a lot of mental health things happening for students. Students were really isolated, and Big Picture Learning was trying to find an avenue for teaching students how to live a healthy life. I think it's interesting when I went to my academic committee and talked about the idea of adapting this for Namahana. It was like, well, is that what we should be doing? And the reality is they asked this of us already. They want us to hit social emotional learning. They want us to be cognitive thinking, non-cognitive skills, physical education. And then at the end of the year, they ask, are your students academically successful? As if that was the outcome for all of these pieces. And so when we sat with, what if we built and constructed our instructional practices through a health lens? And what would it look like for us to build an AINA-based learning model from Big Picture Living? And so I'm going to talk about them a little briefly, but the first one that you'll see, the small letters on the bottom comes from ACLM, the American College of Lifestyle and Medicine, and the words above are the words chosen by the students. And so they have MOVE, which is increased physical activity. It's all about exercise. They have Recharge, which is about the benefits of sleeping and how our students actually don't get a lot of sleep. This is really informed when I'm thinking about starting school and our school schedule. Nourish, ACLM really pushes for a plant-based diet or a mostly plant-based diet. Caution, which is avoiding risky substances and really gets at conversations around substance abuse and choosing to avoid those substances. Chill, which is stress management. I really appreciate they talk about healthy stress and unhealthy stress. And so stress can be a motivator and a positive thing, or it can be anxiety and building and debilitating. And then social, which is around forming and maintaining relationships, which is huge. So we took this, we being myself and our academic committee, and we Namahanaized it. And so we ran it through our values. And so this is such a critical component. It will be, I've said it from the first day and I'll say it forever, it will always be a part of every presentation and everything we do at Namahana is values-based and is driven by our values. And so when you take those 6 measures and you look at it through an Aloha Aina lens, a lens that's thinking about how to love and respect our place in our home, or an Aloha Kanaka lens, and how do we respect and love our family, ourselves, and our community, or an Aloha Ikeau lens, which we're thinking about cultures of the world, and how to be respectful, one, when we're a host and someone's visiting us, or when we're visiting somewhere else. And so we worked through these, and I'm bringing up Tamra, she already is up here, but this is Tamra Martin, also on my academic committee, to just give some of the examples of how we've been taking this, taking our version, Namahana's version of our six measures, and implementing them as we're beginning to build out our middle school curriculum. Click. Okay, so we're going to go do some tag team. The first thing I want to mention before we go is this statement right here. It seems small and I almost had its own slide, but I'm trying to keep it down on time. I'm going to read it. We grow rooted youth and community that care for Aina through their interests, curiosities, and gifts. You can take a picture if you want, it's really important. This is the touchstone statement of our school. So our team worked to get our mission, vision down to one sentence. The thing that I'm repeating constantly to my staff, the thing that when we're building out curriculum, we're going back to, when we're building out our instruction, always going back to that. Are we including our students' curiosities? Are we growing our community? Are they a part of what we're proposing and building? And so that's just so you folks know, because every time we had to build through this, we got to go back to there and then to here to make sure we're constantly in line with our values. So on the left is big picture living, and on the right is our Namahana OLA framework, and the OLA framework is our name for our big picture learning measures, living measures. So for social relationships, we have Pilina, which is our version of them, and I'm gonna pass it to Tamra in a second, but all I wanna say is we have questions up here, and they're just to give you folks an opportunity to think about how we're taking big picture living measure and thinking about it through our values. So in this case, one is how are healthy relationships developed and nurtured with people and place. And so I'm gonna pass to you in 1 second. The last thing I wanna say is that our OLA framework is inclusive of everything big picture living is doing. What they're doing though is very just focused on the student and a student's lifestyle. And so we're broadening that and creating opportunities of thinking about what does a healthy lifestyle look like for our AINA and for our culture and for our community as a parallel to talk about what does a healthy lifestyle look like for me. So Tamra, you wanna give them some examples?
Yeah, so for the Pilina one, we talked about maybe at a field study site. In the first week, it would be orientation with the staff there. It would be building a relationship with that place, what areas will we be using, what will be off limits, how to interact with the staff there, creating good relationships, how to speak to other people in a professional manner. And that would be a lot of the things we might do in the first week on a field study site for Pilina.
Then we move and physical activity exercise was the next one, and we had mana, which is often they're the very literal translations. In our translations, we're talking about strength and deepening strength, both for place and for people. So what makes land, people, culture, and myself strong?
Yeah, and this one I think is really exciting because of the resources that we have available on the North Shore. So this might mean paddling a canoe during a unit about navigation, or this might mean hiking to learn about uka lands or getting a perspective of the land below. And then it also might be similar to a traditional PE also at school on campus, because there's ample space to do that.
Then there's chill, stress management, ho'omaha, to rest. How do moments of rest and reflection strengthen our land, our community, our culture, and ourselves?
And for this one, as Kapua mentioned, we can look at the parallels between a person and yourself, and then also our community. So for this one, we might look at maps for changes over time, or maybe bird's eye view of farms and look at how the fields look when there's seedlings between plantings, and how it's important for everything to rest, the land as well as yourself.
I'm interjecting. One that we did talk about that I get excited about on this one is the CBSFA, the community-based subsistence fishery. The idea of thinking about what does it mean to rest a fishery or to rest a place. I think as we have so many visitors and folks coming, that this will be a really interesting conversation to have with our youth around what does it mean for you to rest, but also for a place to rest. Caution, substance abuse, pono, goodness, morality, well-being, balance. How do I identify and avoid or remove toxicity from my environment and community?
And obviously this one we could do in school as far as substance abuse goes, and then have professionals from the community come in, and the advisory teacher could work whole group or something that might be more individual for each student if they see a need for that. But then also we could talk about recycling in our community or composting, and how we eliminate toxic waste from our area.
Nourish, nutrition, this is the plant-based diet one. Hanai, to raise, rear, feed, nourish. How do we grow and nourish our aina, community, and culture?
This one, Mehana had excellent ideas for this one, which also included growing hollow, perhaps at the school or a lo'i somewhere else in the community, and then teaching the students how to process it from harvesting it, and then at the end have a presentation where the students prepare food with locally grown produce.
And then the last one is recharge, getting enough sleep, ho'ola, life, health, well-being, living. Where and how are our land, community, culture, and selves rejuvenated and energized?
So as Kapua mentioned, this one is embedded in the daily schedule with a later start time of the whole school. And then also, this is something that could be addressed also in advisory or with community partners as well.
Mahalo, Tamra.